Bonnie Stone's new published book, Give Me Shelter, is about her 40-year career of public service. It's a personal tribute to public servants who make positive changes in people's lives. And she's my guest today. So welcome. Bonnie, I agree with you that working in the city was the most wonderful part, I think, of my career. The excitement and the satisfaction of doing something that you could really see the results of is unsurpassed, really.
I agree.
Working at City Hall, which was more than 50 years ago for me, still stands out as one of the most exciting adventures in my life. And that's what you said in your book.
Absolutely. It's the best.
I always felt that being in the middle of the people that you govern or help is just unlike anything else I've ever done.
I agree. I loved every minute of it. And I honestly, I was not a student of government. I was not a student of political science, but I just wanted to do something tangible. And I went to the government.
What gave you the thought?
It was the middle of the 60s. I had graduated from college. I had a master's degree, and I thought, what do I want to do? I don't want to work for industry. I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to go to the federal government. I want to collect garbage. I want to do something. I want something concrete. So I have an older brother who introduced me to Jerry Kretschmer. And Jerry and I spoke, and he didn't have
he was the sanitation commissioner, right?
Yes,
environmental protection, but he loved driving in the sanitation trucks.
I would have loved that too, but he didn't have a job for me. So he sent my resume over to the health department, and they passed it on to methadone. And I thought, wow, I haven't even heard of methadone, but Bob Newman, who was the doctor in charge of the methadone program, was so wonderful that I immediately said yes. And then it took another 6 months before they could hire me, because you know how the city is about moving paper around.
But it was an innovative program. I mean, it really
it was experimental then. It did not have a regular license. It was under tremendous scrutiny. Bob Newman was fighting the DEA and the FDA all the time because of their regulations, and made it harder. But boy, he opened 40 clinics within a few years, and I was part of that. I opened 5 myself, and I learned. He was like a graduate student. He was like a graduate school for government. I learned about everything.
Exactly. I agree with you. I think that's a very good way of saying it. But the city had an influx of
heroin
addiction. I mean, I don't know what the right word is, but heroin, basically. Heroin. And a lot of it came from the Vietnam War. And it was an epidemic that something had to be done about it. And so they came with the methadone thing.
It was very controversial. It was very controversial. A lot of people thought that it was just a substitute drug.
And so turned out to be addictive.
Just as bad, but it's not just a substitute drug. It's a very useful one. And it's because it's slow acting. You don't get a high. It's a very slow onset and a slow decrease. And also, you don't have to use needles. It's a pill or juice. Yeah. And so the sickness reduced, the crime reduced, the people went back to work. The success was so amazing.
Right. And it was interesting too that they really wanted to do it.
Oh yeah, that they wanted to do it was spectacular. Yeah. Spectacular. But the drug-free communities who were very prominent then, Odyssey House and Daytime.
Charlie Rangel, remember?
Charlie Rangel hated the methadone program. He thought it was a drug substitute. Mm-hmm. He thought that was just the wrong way to go. But it was the only thing that worked.
Yeah. I want to go back to how you landed up in the city government. And you have a few brief biographical things, but you were obviously very smart because you got a lot of scholarships. You were pretty bold. I mean, nothing seemed to stop you. So you were doing questionnaires, opinion stuff, or informing people of rights or something, but you weren't in the government, as you said, ideologically. right? It was so interesting to see what happened to you.
Yeah, no, I really didn't know anything. I just wanted to, I remember saying to friends and to my family when they said, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to do good. I had no idea what that meant. So,
So you opened a methadone clinic on a ferry boat.
yes. The Gold Star Mother ferry boat at the foot of Christopher Street. 600 addicts every day on and off that ferry boat.
And it was listing, wasn't it?
Yeah. One time it listed so badly, we had to call the transportation department. They had to reset it. It was a crazy place.
The thing about your working in the city government was that you knew how to maneuver around. So
I didn't, but I learned very quickly. And also I figured out in the city government that you had to go down the ranks to find the person who really could get something done.
Right.
How do you buy something? I don't know how you buy anything in government.
Yeah, I think that's true. So then you went to larger shelters. I mean, you did more shelters.
Well, so then I went to HRA. I moved from the health department, which is where methadone was, to HRA, the Human Resources Administration, where there was no talk then about the homeless. It was just the most important subject we had then was home care. I don't know if you remember the home care program. It was a disaster.
Right.
People weren't getting paid. Nobody could get the service. And so that was our main focus. And then the homeless arrived. And we actually had charge of the men's shelter and the women's shelter and Camp LaGuardia, upstate New York.
Yeah.
But when we were sued, when the city was sued by Bob Hayes and the Coalition for the Homeless, we argued with the mayor that he should sign a consent decree and not entertain a lawsuit. Don't answer the lawsuit, just sign a consent decree because you want to house the homeless. We want to house the homeless. Let's just do it. So we did. And the minute we signed that, the floodgates opened and we started seeing thousands of people. It was scary.
And it guaranteed that everybody would have a place to
Well,
stay.
it guaranteed that men would be sheltered because that was the lawsuit. It took another year till they added women and then another couple of years till they added families.
Yeah. But as I told you before, I was the mayor's representative to Greenwich Village, and the Greenwich Hotel is the one that I met Bob at. And I mean, that was a terrible community problem because they had a concentration of privately run places individual places for homeless people, and it was mostly from prison or drugs or
single room occupancies. It was the SRO era.
Yeah. And
it's interesting that now they're new SROs and they're good.
Yeah,
and
that was always a model.
Yes.
A model. It was always sort of like, I always thought it should go back to the old rooming houses where you provided dinner or breakfast, and small.
Yes.
It took a long time to have, and people like you who then approached it in a more holistic way. It's really important.
Remember, the homeless on the street emerged because the state no longer took psychiatric patients. The state was using psychotropic drugs to control the hallucinations of the mentally ill, but they had no place to live. And so the state just let them out of the mental hospitals and they started to live in really ratty hotels and then the street. And then the fiscal crisis came along. And when that calmed down, real estate was the first thing to come back. So they closed all those hotels.
Right.
And they made it into housing. Right. And then they all emptied out onto the street.
But wasn't closing the mental institutions, that was another court case. I mean, so you've had one part, the government is under mandate to do something, but it causes another major problem. It was very, it's sort of a story of government and how we survive in this.
We're not, Ronnie, we're not great planners in our country.
We're not. And there hasn't, talk about planning. as far as land use, there hasn't been a comprehensive plan of the city since, I think, 1968, 69 during Lindsay. So we always respond, and that's, of course, how government works, right?
Well,
You
how our government works.
create a crisis and force the government to respond, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, we never respond, and we never plan anything. We never are active before the problem, and then we react. And if you're lucky enough to be in government when it's reacting, you have a spectacular chance of doing good.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Tell me about the railroad stuff.
Oh, the railroad. First of all, I had never experienced real sex discrimination. And I got to the railroad and it was like a joke. They were the old boys and they didn't want girls near the trains. And it was a caricature. And I, of course, loved that too, because I was crashing through boundaries all over the place. And do you remember the story in the book about the toilet? I don't know if you remember this. Yeah, I embarrassed them.
Tell the story.
Okay, so they had one toilet for women on the executive floor at the railroad. And the women used to stand in a line in the hallway to get into the bathroom, and they all hated it. And so I started bothering them about putting in more stalls. And they all said, oh, we know it's a problem. We know it's a problem. I said, well, when are you going to fix it? And they said, in the second capital plan. I said, when's that? 5 years. And I said, no, we're not waiting for that. And then they stalled. So I finally went to the head of construction, who was not a vice president, but he was the guy who really could have done it. And I said, Ben, if you don't fix it, we're going to take over the men's room. And he said, ha, ha, ha. And I said, just warning you, I didn't want you to be surprised. And we're going to call it the Ben Dwinell. He said, very funny, very funny. And then, 30 days later, we had our bathroom because embarrassment was the only thing that worked. So
I skipped over the morgue, which was came because of the methadone. So that's a fascinating story.
Oh, no, the morgue is fascinating. I mean, nobody wants to do anything in the morgue. Nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody wants to do anything. So it was a disaster. You
were working in methadone and the results of deaths.
Oh, that story. That's a terrible story. Yeah. So the Judy Ann Denson-Gerber, who was the head of Odyssey House, was married to Michael Baden, who was a deputy medical examiner. And they hated methadone. So Baden started reporting methadone deaths helter-skelter. He used to say, if somebody was in a car accident and they had methadone in them, it was a methadone death. And if somebody had a heart attack, but he had methadone, it was a methadone death. So the methadone deaths soared and the publicity was terrible. We were trying to open up methadone clinics and there are all these death reports everywhere. So Bob Newman finally got access to the medical examiner statistics and reports, and he uncovered this thing. And Michael Baden was chastised, but the damage was done because the reputation for methadone was ruined for decades after that. It was really bad. People now understand that methadone is a decent, good reaction to the heroin problem.
So what it shows is how effective you are as an administrator. You get some things, you get so many things done. You see the systems and the way to go around them and do that. It just amazed me. And you went from all these different things, but you finally left the government.
I did, under duress. I didn't want to leave. I could have stayed in government forever. But you know what happens? The higher you get in government, the more you're a subject of political change. Yeah. So I was not fired, but Bruce McIver left the railroad and he had a disagreement with Bob Kiley, who was the head of the MTA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he left. And then they put in new people and I wasn't part of the new group. So they were ignoring me and I was feeling frozen. And that's the worst thing. You're sitting there and nobody's talking to you.
Oh,
So,
that's terrible.
so I went out and I said, I got to go. I got to go. And I got a job outside of government. And when I went to the job, the first few weeks, I thought I had died because the phone wasn't ringing. Nobody was making impossible demands. Nobody was yelling at me.
But you didn't just go out. I mean, you worked.
Oh, I got a job. I went and I got a job
in a nonprofit.
in a nonprofit, right? In a nonprofit that was also taking care of a lot of the things I was doing in government.
Totally
So they knew me. They knew me, and they were really excited that they could hire me.
And amazed at your abilities, right? But
They already had a sense of that, which is why they wanted to hire me. So, but it was funny, you know, the Self-Help was a not-for-profit that handled Nazi victims from the Holocaust. And they were very, very bright and upstanding and severe people. They wanted to take care of Holocaust survivors. And so there I was trying to help them continue. And they never even asked if I was Jewish. It was fascinating. These are German Jews, and they're different from Central European Jews.
Right.
They never even asked me. They just accepted me.
But they didn't make you chair when the president left because you were a woman.
Yes, I think so. That's what they told me at UJA anyway.
But then you went to another highlight of your career, which was 15 years.
Yes, I tell you, the luckiest thing that ever happened to me was not getting that job, because then the next job I got at Women in Need was spectacular. It was just wonderful. I came in and it was ripe territory for me. And so I brought it from an organization which had a budget of about $7 million to $70 million. And that was by opening shelters and taking care of homeless people.
For women and their children.
Women and their children, which was different from the beginning. The beginning was all men, and then women, and then families is very, very different, very different. And it's more a housing problem than it is a mental health problem, although there's some mental issues.
It started as a small organization by Rita Zimmerman, who did a spectacular job early on, but it was small.
It got too big. It got too big for her. And the board was a little concerned because there was a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
So that's why they went after me.
Yeah. Yeah. And could I say you're a pioneer in establishing a holistic approach to answering homelessness?
Well, I have to say, Rita Zimmer was great.
Yeah.
She was a real ideologue, and she was great. And she set the pace. What I did was I said, listen, we need the numbers. We need to be able to take care of more people. We need to open our doors. And that's what I did. I said, open your doors as wide as possible. And so we went from taking care of 400 people to taking care of 4,000 people. And yeah, so she was great, but it's smaller scale.
She was a founder of a non-for-profit, and that always happens, I think.
Right.
Usually. It's very difficult. But you've got these 3 tiers. I mean, you have shelter.
Yep.
Then you have
Supportive housing.
And
Right.
now you have final housing.
Yeah, no, well, you know, when I was running Women in Need and expanding it and meeting the needs, I thought, okay, let's see what else we can do. And we had a landlord. You know, landlord's an ugly word. Landlords are supposed to be despised. Well, we had a landlord who was fabulous. And his name was Joel Shafran, a modest guy making a fortune renting buildings for the homeless. But I said to him, you know, Joel, let's build permanent housing. And he said, okay, just like that. And he went out, we had a lot, an empty lot next to our shelters. And he went out and he bought the land, just like that. You know how slow government is. It would have taken years to get that land. He went out and he bought it. And then he held on to it for 10 years, paying the taxes and letting it lie fallow until I could get the money to do supportive housing.
Mm.
It was amazing. Handshake. I never signed anything. And he kept it for 10 years for me so that I could do this. And he earned a little bit of money, but not like he was earning on the
Yes.
show.
So it's now Stonehouse.
Old Stonehouse, the board surprised me with that when I left.
You read the story in the Times on Sunday about all the hotels that are.
Yes, yes. I think it's a great idea, by the
Of
way.
course it is, but
It's
then
a
they said
good
it's
idea.
all held up in
Right.
regulation. I mean,
Right.
how, if you were there, what would you have done? What
Well,
would you do?
Well, I mean, first of all, you have to have the will from the top. And if you don't have the will from the top, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know where de Blasio is on this.
Well,
I don't know.
he's obviously, I don't think, made a big push. I don't know.
He hasn't, well, he's tried, but you need leadership. And I think Eric Adams mentioned these hotels. I hope he holds to that because it's a fabulous idea. The city could buy them. The city could rent them. The city could do it and take care of the street homeless. They could do it.
First of all, the developers who make a lot of money, but also the partnership. You know, we're always talking about, do we have a government that is business friendly?
Right.
But do we have a business community that's government friendly or helpful to social services? And they could, a lot of them could buy a hotel
Absolutely.
and lease
Absolutely.
it to the city. I mean,
Absolutely.
or do a not-for-profit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This could happen, but you need the policy from the top and you need people who can carry it out. And right now we're in between governments and who knows?
And we need some political will to make, I mean, it just it galls me.
Yeah.
Talk
And you know
about-
what? Ironically, it would be
Friendly.
less expensive for them
Mhm,
if they bought those hotels.
right.
I mean,
And you sign a long-term lease, right?
sign a long-term lease, put people in there who are very disabled, whether it's mentally or physically, and you get them off the streets and get them out of the big shelters. It would be wonderful. And you know what? I think they're moving towards that, although they keep saying there are a lot of obstacles. There's always obstacles. We know that. There's always a lawyer who says you can't do it. Oh, really? Okay.
Right. So do you get frustrated now at home watching some of these problems and not participating in solving them?
I really don't. I really don't. I had my time in the pool, and now there are other people, and I read everything and I see everything and I know what's going on. But you know, I did it, and now I'm painting, so I'm not frustrated. I have ideas, but I'm not there.
Yeah, I am very frustrated because I look at it from a political point of view, and it just drives me crazy that there's nothing I can do about it. That's how I feel nowadays. The exchange between government and people. I don't know, but
But that's leadership. That's leadership. That's
Yeah.
absolutely leadership. And I'm afraid de Blasio didn't have a touch. He didn't have the touch. And I'm not criticizing. He did a lot of things that were okay and good, but he didn't have that touch. Ed Koch had that touch.
Yeah, right.
He
And
could go-
Lindsay had that touch a different way, but he definitely did. I mean, they were charismatic. That's the difference.
And Bloomberg had that touch, although he really messed up with the homeless. He really did. He made some big mistakes because he
ended the
a rental subsidy, which threw thousands of people back into the shelters. It was a bad decision. And people warned him, but you know, I'm a problem solver and I'm going to solve this problem.
Well, I hope that in Stonehouse we'll have an exhibition of your paintings.
That's a thought. That's a thought.
I think that would be really great. And I would love to come to the opening of the collection.
Okay, if we ever do that, I would absolutely make sure you're there. You know what I really would like to see, though? This book, I wrote it because I wanted my story to be available, but it's turned out to be a really good book. And I think it would be a great textbook for graduate students in policy, in urban planning, all of those subjects, because it shows you what you might do actually behind the scenes.
Right.
And I would love to see that happen and educate youngsters.
And even a little before that, before they decide what they're going to be, to show the
How exciting.
the excitement and the satisfaction you get from public service.
Right, right, right. And people know that. I had lunch with some old friends. They had all read the book and they were so happy to be talking about it because they went through it too. It's an amazing career for people. And I'd like to encourage people.
Okay. So you should start an alumni association. Well, we've come to the end. I hope everybody buys the book. It's in all the stores or online with all the different carriers. And it's not a very long book, but it's very inspiring, I think. And
it's good to hear. That's good to hear.
It warms your heart.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It warmed my heart. Yep. Okay. Thank you so much, Ronnie. It's been a long.
Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you.